Hello, everyone. Listen, if you ever find yourself in possession of an old, ancient, cursed spell book, and you decide to go out and get drunk one night with your friends, and you break it out and say, hey, let's do one of the spells in here. Don't do that. Why do people keep doing that? I don't understand. But actually, I'm kind of glad they do, because that means we keep getting stories like this, the one we're going to be talking about today, and it's a good one. But first, I want to remind you, of course, that I have books for sale at the link in the description. Check out my 2 horror anthologies and my standalone slasher comedy. Those are all down there. And I hope you decide to purchase 1 or 2. It would make me very happy. And also, don't forget to pre-order Ooze, Little Bursts of Body Horror. That one's coming out on March 1st, and my story, called Got You Too, will be included along with 19 other fantastic authors. And I can say they're all fantastic because I just got my author's copy, and man, some of the stories in there are just creeping me out whenever I think about them. This is going to be a good one, and I'll have my review on this channel pretty soon for that anthology. But in the meantime, go ahead and pre-order at the link in the description. All right, let's get on with the video. All right, so the book we're going to be talking about today is the new one from Hash Black, and it's called Signed in Blood. Yes. I was really excited to get this book, and I want to thank the author for sending me an advanced review copy. I love good old demonic stories. You just can't go wrong if they're done right. And this one is absolutely done right. And this book starts out with 3 little girls way back when, in the olden days. 3 little girls who are locked and trapped inside the inner sanctum of a church with something very evil. And you're going to find out why and how all that came about, of course, when you read the book. But the death and destruction starts in this book like right away, right from the get-go, and it never lets up. But after that first chapter, we get to the main story. It's set in modern times, more modern times. This is about 4 lifelong friends, and each one has their own different things going on. One of them is about to lose his home, because he can't pay his mortgage. He's trying to get pregnant with his wife, and but he's not having a very good time. He's having a difficult time financially. Another one is a best-selling author of self-help books, and his latest book just hit #1 on the New York Times best-selling list. And so he decides he wants to take his friends out to celebrate. So they decide to go one night out to his boat, and they're going to go on his boat, and they are going to party and celebrate their friendship. But he has another surprise for them. Because of his connections, he was able to get his hands on an ancient grimoire, a spell book, from a friend of his that works at the museum. His friend allowed him to borrow it. And during the course of the night, after some alcoholic beverages are imbibed, they decide, let's try out one of these spells. Not everybody is enthused about it, but nobody really believes in any of that stuff. So, yeah. They decide to use a spell that's going to call forth the devil's right hand. And you'll find out what that is when you read the book. But something goes wrong during the ceremony. They don't do it quite correctly. And it does summon forth this demon, but now the demon is not happy because these humans that this thing despises is not happy that they did not do it correctly. They didn't fulfill all the obligations, and he decides they are now all on his hit list, his demonic hit list. And sure, he could kill them right away. He could just crush their heads. But he decides he has other plans for them. He's going to make them suffer first, and he's going to make them pay for their sacrilege. when they were doing this spell. And that's exactly what takes place. This book is it's short. It's a novel, but it's a shorter novel. It is fast-paced. It is full of action, full of blood, full of gore. And as these friends kind of figure out that they have unleashed something for real, but with no idea how to stop it from happening, it just keeps getting bloodier and bloodier and more brutal. This demon announces itself kind of before the carnage by releasing thousands of arachnids, thousands and thousands of spiders that will crawl over people, get in their ears, try to climb up their nose, cover their faces, and when that happens, they know pretty soon the lights are going to go out, things are going to go dark, and carnage is going to ensue. But also in this book, we have a gypsy fortune teller who is going to play a pretty big role in this later on, because she might have some information about this demon and this entity, and she does not like being bothered by these people. She thinks they're imbeciles and idiots. She knows that they were tinkering in something they had no right to be tinkering in, but under the circumstances, keeping this demon unleashed in her world would be very bad for everyone, so she reluctantly decides to help sooner or later. And again, I'm not going to give anything away. You'll have to see how that plays out. But they find themselves, and they're also, including, or besides this gypsy fortune teller, there's also a police detective who is on their trail, hot on two of the friends' trail, because he believes that they are responsible for some horrific atrocities that happened that the demon actually did, but of course nobody's going to believe a demon did it. So this detective is convinced that they are guilty. And so he starts following them around. He starts harassing them. And we have this gypsy fortune teller that is just mocking them and calling them idiots and imbeciles. Not even sure she wants to help yet. And in the meantime, they have no other way to figure out what to do about this demon, because they're all going to die if they do not figure this out. And here's something I was not expecting, the ending of this book. I'm not going to tell you what it is, of course, because that would be a spoiler. But there is something that is revealed, something that happens at the end that will ensure that any surviving members of this group, none of them are going to have a truly happy ending. Maybe one seems like they might have a happy ending, but considering what must be done to continue the ending that you'll see, well, you'll read about it anyway. So maybe one of them has kind of a happy ending, but it's something that he'll have to live with for the rest of his life. But I didn't see that twist coming. It changes everything about the book and everything we believe so far when we were reading it, and it was fantastic. It blew me out of the water. Like I said, this is a shorter, fast-paced book full of action, full of blood, full of gore, great characters that you'll want to get behind, but you just know that by doing that, yeah, your hopes are probably going to be dashed a little bit. And some of the inventive ways that this demon uses the environment and themselves to cause his death and destruction is just fantastic. I absolutely love this book, and I highly recommend it. Signed in Blood by Hash Black. And you can pick up your copy at the link in the description. So go ahead and do that. Be sure to pre-order Ooze while you're down there. It comes out on March 1st. And check out the link below for all of my other books. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.